Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Skader Things.
Welcome.
We are back as usual. I'm with my two co-hosts, as always, Blue and Evan. How are you two doing today?
Evening.
Fantastic. How are you doing, Obby?
I'm doing really good. Stop trying to imitate my low energy right now, though. That sounded too low energy for the Blue I know.
Hi. This is better. I'm tired.
That's the better energy. I am a tad bit under the weather today, so sorry if I sound very low energy. My bad.
You know what, Evan? That means pull him over the weather. We got you. We're gonna pull
That's
you.
true.
Up.
Evan can't control the weather. That is Skader Things accurate lore. Oh, sorry. That's Skader Thins accurate lore.
Yeah.
It's Skader Thins now because we don't have a G anymore because the wife is dead. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the Queen, Saran, by the way.
Yeah, that's Queen Elizabeth II.
The queen died, guys.
It's funny though that you were here before this happened, but now you're here after it happened too.
Yeah. So what about? Let's introduce the guest today. We're here today with Saran.
Saran rap Saran.
Saran. And for those of you who don't know, Saran or Saran, as I like to call them, is the thumbnail maker of our chibis that you see in the Skader Things thumbnails. So all the cute little chibis you make of all of us, they're right here on the screen right now.
You ever wonder?
You see? Wait, there I am, right there. Oh,
no, you're not doing this again. You are not doing this again.
We like to make him work.
If you guys have ever wondered how they managed to make me look so flattering in the chibis, well, it's down to this talented human being right here, because only so many people can make this person you're looking at right now actually look cute.
Oh yeah,
Surrounders are fantastic.
I don't know how you were able to do that, honestly.
Yeah,
how were you able to take this and make that right there? That.
Yeah.
Screen zoom ins on Evan's face has his chibi right next to him, and it's just like how wait
with like
how?
a red circle from
bottom text.
Saran, how did you make this cute, Saran? How?
But yeah,
it's like working with Play-Doh.
I will also admit that this is the second time we are recording this podcast, as I did an oopsie last time we tried to record this one with Saran. And I forgot to record all three of their audio last time. So
you had a solo performance?
Yeah, I had a solo performance the entire podcast. It was really interesting to listen to. No, I didn't listen to just.
You're like, I sounded great. They weren't. I sounded great though.
Yeah.
I was quiet for one.
So it's gonna be a little weird because technically, like the things that we talked about, there were things that we were supposed to talk about before Rosie's podcast, but I don't think there was anything in that podcast that was like directly related to what we talked about with Sarah, because we kept going over the Queen is dead bit over and over again, so much so that if you just look at the timestamps for last episode, it's just literally me saying the Queen is dead, her wife is dead, the wife is dead, the wife is still dead, Evan killed the wife, ? Yeah, I did not. I was not going to bother. I was not going to bother at all trying to make timestamps for every single time segment in that video. I was like,
Rosie's is funny. It's just what you would expect from Rosie. That was perfect.
So yeah, that was a fun episode, but we're about to have another fun episode here with Saran today. So Saran, let's just get started with the art, since we already mentioned it. You are our chibi artist. You also do chibi art for other people in the content team or any videos that we do. Like you've done one for Bo before. I think you are currently working on one for yourself, or you have made one for yourself at this point.
I actually haven't. I haven't had my drawing tablet out.
Oh wow.
Yeah, well, and I had to redesign myself, so that's mostly why.
You changed your skin midway through. Yeah.
I didn't actually have an artist persona for a little while, or I wasn't happy with it, so I had to redesign it from the ground up, so I got nothing done.
But in also addition to just the chibi arts you also do comics for the Scribe newsletters, which are very cute and adorable, and also just as well drawn as any other art that you do.
Mhm.
And they are so good. Nen, Nen or the Valkyrie. He he never really pipes up about anything. Like he rarely pipes up about stuff. He's like incredibly quiet. And he every time there's one of your art pieces in the newsletter, he always brings it up. He's like, "Wow, we should get Saran to do other art. Like they are so good. Like they're so talented at this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think Obby would allow me to ask that."
No,
Obby keeps
I
him
already
pretty
worked this one to the
busy.
bone. Sorry.
I was gonna say right before we started recording, you just gave them a new schedule, and it's like there's a
I
lot
gave
going
them
on.
like 3 things to do. And to be
But I'll tell you
completely fair, it would have been 4, but I think I'm gonna ask Arctic to do one of the things I did ask.
for Nen to bring you up is like a huge compliment because Nen just doesn't really talk about stuff. So yeah, your art is appreciated by everybody.
Yeah, your art is very appreciated. Appreciated by everyone.
An A in there.
Yes, I know. Listen. It's hard today to talk. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, Saren's such a good artist. Do you want to talk about that story of you becoming an artist? What got you into it and stuff?
Yeah. I've always kind of done art stuff. And, I didn't consider myself an artist for a very long time. And I said this before too. I very distinctly remember, I believe I was in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
Was it first grade? First grade or kindergarten?
It was first grade last time you mentioned
the
story.
I think it was first grade. And I was looking through the bookshelf of like the little library in the classroom, and I was looking at this one girl in my class who was kind of known as the artsy one. And I remember distinctly thinking how there's always one artist, and it isn't me. Which obviously is not true. The not me part now, but
yeah. But but in essence, you wanted to go ahead and become an artist out of spite for not wanting to have the stereotype of the one art classy one.
I mean, kind of. I always made YouTube for fan art, and I was inspired by someone online to like start picking up art more seriously, and I remember I did a lot of tracing at first, which is a very valid way to grow. And I think it was about 2017 I started really taking art seriously and drawing off of my own hand, not like tracing or referencing or copying or anything.
Sorry, when you say off your own hand, I imagine you like
Yeah.
drawing it on your actual hand.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad I'm not the only one that thought that. I'm like, oh, me
realized this
too.
better.
I draw on myself too.
Yeah, I could have worded that better. I'm tired.
Don't worry.
Oh, words are hard. This is Skade.
Yeah.
Like, we're lucky to get any words right. So yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah, I have a lot of my really early art too. I think I'm on sketchbook 6 now. But I did pretty much entirely traditional art at first, and I think it was 2018. Mid 2018, I experimented with digital art for the first time on a little like Wacom tablet thing that doesn't have the screen, just like the pen tablet, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And then from there, it kind of just kept going.
Well, that is a pretty mundane story, but I think that is the story for a lot of artists.
I did not explain it too well either, or like too interestingly.
Oh, don't worry. Every story. Hey, listen. The only good stories are the ones who are good at storytelling, right? Like, I'm not a good storyteller. I'll be very boring with my stories now.
I am too, but Evan is actually Evan has that art form.
I'm good at telling stories, but that's because I can sell it in an entertaining way. I can laugh at the right points. Yeah. I can make the boring points sound incredible, even though it was terrible. But it's tough, and but like when it comes to like artistry or really any hobby or pastime you do, there's very rarely a super interesting, like, one-of-a-kind story attached to it. It usually is something very incidental, like, oh, a friend introduced it to me, or, oh, I accidentally started doing things that resembled this. Like, I could tell this epic story of how I started climbing, But realistically, I just thought, I'd like to try this, and then just went and tried it. So it's very rare you get like a whirlwind. Like maybe there's a story, that Saran could have told, where it's like, oh, one day I fell into like, this river, and I fell down this waterfall, and as I was falling down the waterfall, my life flashed before my eyes, and I saw a vision of somebody telling me I need to pursue art. So I tried to recreate.
So what you're
the
saying
experience
is that
by
Sarah
painting
needs
it.
to lie, and it makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, I'm sure some people
It's
do
called
lie about how they get into it.
exaggerating, actually.
It's exaggeration.
Exaggerating the
I
false
am in,
details.
right, and so Saran painted an experience of them nearly dying in the waterfall, and they realized, whoa, I'm really good at artwork. And so ever since then, they have been doing art. And in fact, they even have a pledge to help victims of waterfalls. So all the proceeds that they make from their artwork goes toward.
Oh
Is
my
this some
goodness.
kind of like America's Got Talent version of art? Like, is this the art version of America's Got
Saren's
Talent
art
stories?
is pasted all
Yeah,
over
exactly,
Niagara
though.
Falls. Trust
I need to
us.
see the
So-
pictures of you sick. Come on, post it so I feel bad.
Yes, yeah. I'm doing this for my brother who's got a rare condition.
And then I became
Yeah.
an artist by my
So
paintings.
I'm just taking. I just had to take this at the end. The nth degree.
You had to take it past the nth degree. Let's make this a charity case, is what you decided to make this story.
I had to make this to the Peath degree.
I liked
PT.
Saran's story, so it was simple, but it
Saran's
was
story was nice.
it was like relatable. Like I think Obby was saying, or maybe it was you were saying that like we can all kind of in some way people can typically relate with those starts, and
Yeah.
you don't have to fall into a river and saved a goat and
And
started an orphanage. So
and
100%,
I know last time we talked about art in this podcast that will never be released because it's just me talking to myself. That I did mention to you about a anime movie that I saw recently called Look Back. I'm assuming you haven't watched it yet because
Nope, I have not watched it.
no one ever watches my recommendations instantly, which is okay. Take your time to watch things. Unless if I pester to you about too much, then you should watch it sooner. But
reruns on Netflix. Mm-hmm.
that anime, and specifically that anime movie, it is literally that. It is about a girl who just wanted to become a mangaka, wanted to make art for manga and stuff. And it's a very mundane story of how she got into it. But it's more about her and meeting her friend who is her like assistant / partner in making manga. It's a very cute and simple story. It does get like a little weird in the middle, but it's weird in a good way because that's just how Chainsaw Man's author does it. But it is a really nice story, and I think anyone who is an artist should watch that because it is such a good film and such a good story for anyone who is interested in doing any kind of art, honestly.
Well, I'd like to check that out. But I need to finish Free Run first.
Okay. Well, Freerin, let's see. You are still on episode 6, and you've been
7. Thank you.
Okay, you're on episode 7, and you've been on episode 7 for 8 months now.
I had to watch Severance. It was really good.
And considering the fact that Freerin, you still have about 21 more episodes to go at 20 minutes apiece. Look
that
Back
sounds
at
about right.
60 minutes for the entire thing. So, like, maybe you're just never going to finish
Maybe I could skip
Freerin.
ahead. No, I will. It will happen in 2025, guys. I have goals.
Sure. Anyways, moving back on to the art topic. I do want to know about like how did you, because when I asked you to do chibi style, you seemed very confident, even though I'd never have seen like your own chibi artwork before that. Like, so I was gonna ask, like, how did you get like into the styles that you do draw for art? Because like your usual art pieces, like your one of Wanderer, is like very
My mini.
detailed. Yeah, it is very detailed and very oriented and stuff like that. It's not like it is very highly detailed and such. So how did you get into like each form of art style? Did you just pick up a pen and go, or like is there a certain reason why you got into each one?
There's a certain reason for each. I always liked anime art, like before I got into anime as it is. When I'd look at fan art, that was the style I preferred. the chibis, I don't do them as much as I used to. Back in like 2019, I did them a lot more.
Hmm.
It originally like was inspired by the Odd Ones Out art style. That
Oh
was
yeah.
the first art style I kind of like yoinked to practice with.
Hmm.
And then it kind of evolved more into anime style chibis from there. But my primary art style, it's gone through a lot of phases. It's always stayed anime-esque. And for a long time, up until about 2020-ish, it was very like typical cell shading, I believe it is.
Hmm.
Just no like super complicated shadows, maybe some airbrushing, but very little. And I experimented a few times with more complicated rendering, but it never really stuck around before then because I just didn't have the patience to do it. And for a long time, I had this thing where every drawing had to be completed in one day, which was wildly unhealthy. Like that did not
That
help.
sounds awful.
Yeah. And it kind of progressively got worse and worse and caused more and more art burnout.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly. Until I believe it was December 2021. Not long after I got into Genshin, because that was the start of the Genshin era
Yeah.
of art.
For you, anyway.
Yeah. I, for the first time, really, in 5 years by that point, I actually took, I think it was about a week on a little holiday piece. And I did more complicated rendering, just kind of pushing through it, I guess.
Hmm.
Then in early 2022, January, I did my first piece with Kazuha, and from then on, I started doing more complicated rendering and getting more inspiration from more like fan art I really like, of the almost painterly style, kind of impressionist. It's gone very much more in a more impressionist direction over the year,
Hmm.
the last 3. Now it's a standard of each piece takes a month minimum, and if I'm really unlucky, like with my last Wanderer one, 6 months. 3 of them were spent not liking it because the coloring was slightly off and there wasn't enough contrast, so I drove
Yeah,
everyone insane because I could not finish it.
what is your first move on your TCG card? 500 layers, if I remember correctly.
Is it only 500? I think my most recent piece, like Freedom, I'm pretty sure it was, I'm gonna say it was 2,400.
Oh my gosh. Listen,
Hold on.
the highest layers I've ever gone on any sort of art project, and I'm not an artist. I don't actually do art, but like for TCG cards and stuff that I've done on Skade, I have done artsy sourdough stuff, and the highest I've ever gotten onto one of those is like 30. So going up to 2,400 is insane
And
to
it
go for
had
that.
like 121,000, I think I'm saying that right. I struggle to say this kind of words.
Yeah.
That number.
That feels like that's enough to
120
just crash your
120,000.
computer.
actions, individual actions. Like pen strokes, undos, selections, etc.
Wow, that's a lot.
That
Yeah,
sounds like your
68
That's an
computer
hours.
insane
hated
amount.
you after that.
Yeah, my drawing laptop, because I've upgraded from the drawing laptop to an actual Huion now.
Mhm.
My Surface started blue screening like numerous times before I did it, and it got to where saving the file would take 5 to 10 minutes straight of it not being on like the white not responding screen.
Oh wow.
It still saved in the end, but my computers were not happy. uh,
They're like, no, mom.
why must you put me through this torture?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am glad to hear your story of becoming an artist.
Mm.
I have known that it is a good story, but I do want to focus on a new hyperfixation that you have been getting into recently. And I am
Mhm.
wondering, first off, why you haven't been drawing any recently. Like I have imagined that you would have been drawing a lot of Pokemon recently, but you haven't.
You know, the weird thing is, I think I've drawn Pokemon 3 times total, but I've also made, what, 10 to 15 clays of them?
Clays, like actual clay figurines.
Yeah. Like, I've done 5 Dittos, I believe. I did a Sandygast and Palo Sand, all shiny, of course, because you can't get
Oh
shiny
my
figures, so I'm
goodness.
gonna make
Can we
shiny
get
clay.
pictures of those to show that?
Yeah, that
Oh, yeah.
sounds so cool. Oh my gosh.
It does.
I'm excited to
I
see
want to see
this.
the Palosan. Palosan's like one of my favorite
better.
ghost types.
We better see it.
I can grab it right now. They're super easy to find.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Wait, there it is. I see it. Wow.
Whoa.
Look up there.
I'm gonna kill you, woman. You're not gonna enjoy your new computer, is what I'm gonna say.
I
here.
know.
Oh, I forgot I did a giant Beware as well.
Ooh, Beware is such a cool Pokemon.
It's like
It really
6 inches
is.
tall, I think.
I have a shiny one named Kevin.
You
Aw.
named your Beware Kevin.
Yes, he's orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
His name's
Orange
Kevin.
Screams Kevin?
Here. He's right here. Look. Here.
I'm not. We're not putting Kevin on the screen. I want
Everybody
to know
wants to see
what-
Kevin.
why is Orange Kevin?
I don't know. I don't know. I named him Kevin. So you can see he's
Yeah.
right here. Kevin. He's a shiny.
You have problems.
This girl does not think highly about names. I wonder what was going through your head when you named Riley. Did you actually think that far ahead, or did you just yeah, Riley?
No. I liked Riley. I was like, Riley, that's a Spitfire name.
That's a
This child's gonna
Spitfire
be
name.
spunky. It could have been an Allison or something super angelic, but no. No, Riley was the way to go on that one.
Oh my lord!
Oh my goodness, they're so cute.
Sorry
The
for
act
everyone.
too.
For the listeners, Saran just posted all their clay models of them. Turtwig is so cute.
Oh my gosh, it's
Little
so
tiny
cute.
Turtwig.
I love that.
There's also a
Oh.
Slowpoke tail. I forgot about that one.
Here you go, Obby. There you are,
Yeah,
sir.
a lot of these are going to be in the video now.
Oh, the little tiny Beware. It's so cute.
I'm not
There's Kevin.
putting that in the video. Kevin does not make the cut.
Kevin, you guys want to see Kevin, don't you? Everybody wants to see Kevin.
Comment in the description below if you want to see Kevin.
Comment if you'd like to see Kevin. He's cute. He's not as cute as what you're seeing on the screen right now. All these the clay Pokemons. Oh my gosh, the Corral is so
Forgot about the
cute.
Sunfist.
I don't see anything correctly, so you'll have to just excuse my pronunciation. But the Magikarp, the Corral, the little Turtwig,
Corsair.
the Axew, they're just so cute. The little sandcastle dude, and I can't remember his name.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Sam.
Yeah, he's so cute. You did such a great job. I have
Yeah.
a kiln. We should just have a clay party. Do you want to come over? We can burn these and make cool things. Oh my gosh, a
the first clay.
sunfish.
The first clay I ever did was a little venti, and it was the first one we ever baked. I
Mhm.
didn't know clay could turn into the color and texture of a burnt marshmallow.
Yes.
There were bubbles and it was venti.
Yeah.
It was only in the oven for 15 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
It was at 450 degrees though.
I've only ever done pottery art and stuff like that, and art in middle school and stuff. But there is a pottery place near me that does do make your own pottery stuff, and I do need to check them out at some point.
Do it. It's fun. That's actually
Yeah.
how we got into it. And then we came across someone selling their kiln, and we were like, yes, this is it. And so we started doing pottery, but then we turned and started doing glass. And that's the only thing we ever use the kiln for now is glass, playing with glass. But it is so fun. It is so fun. 10 out of 10 you should try.
Mm-hmm. But either way, Pokemon has been your most recent obsession.
Very much.
And I am interested in see how your transition from Hoyoverse to Pokemon has gone. Because as a recovering Genshin addict myself, I was a Pokemon addict before I was a Genshin addict.
Recovering Genshin
So
addict. Do you have your chip?
Yeah, I do. I have. I left out the Genshin's Anonymous meeting. Sorry.
At the support group. You left it at the Genshin support group.
So, but I want to hear about how you got into Pokemon and such.
I was a really, really big Pokemon fan back in 2017, 2018, alongside the Ace Attorney hyperfixation. Which I forgot to mention, that's the inspiration for the anime art style.
That's fair. Ace
We
Attorney has a
celebrated
really
someone
cool.
like that recently. Yeah, I know that game.
I love it. But I I don't know if I got burnt out or if it was the shutdown of the Roblox Pokemon games. Because those were what I played back then. I had Sun and Moon and like some of the DS ones, but the hyperfixation kind of dwindled, and then I was stuck in bed for a few days. My bird is being loud. He's very noisy.
Don't worry,
all
the
of a
bird
sudden.
is
It's just
also a guest on Skader Things.
Yeah, it's ambient like noises in the background. We love that. So thank you for planning that ahead.
Yeah.
I think my microphone's cutting it out, thankfully.
Well, I don't hear it, but I kind of wish I
okay,
did.
It's
Sometimes
just a
you
very
do.
loud, like,
We like
noise.
birds.
It's not a nice noise.
Yeah, it's just a high pitch squeak every
yeah,
time.
pretty much. But because I was stuck in bed for a few
Like
days
that.
and I needed to like get my mind. Yep, that would have been him.
But that was cute. Sorry.
I needed to like have my mind distracted on something, and Pokemon was very much like I hyperfixated on it and played through the entire game in like 3 days back then. So I got Arceus. It didn't quite work out immediately. Mostly just because Arceus is so different from any other Pokemon game.
Yeah.
But then I got
I haven't played that
Violet,
one.
and then I started shiny hunting, and then that was that, and it
Yeah.
very much destroyed my gotcha
Mm-hmm.
phase.
And you said gotcha who?
Gotcha.
Gotcha, bitch.
Ha. But
So they stopped the gotcha phase, silly.
that's true.
They went
I'm
from the
gonna say
gotcha
it.
to the Pokemon. Was that right? I was following,
Yes.
right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, as also a very big fan of Pokemon, I'll say Arceus was honestly one of my more favorite games, just because it is such a different formula compared to everything else they've done before. But I like it when other people get into Pokemon. I was a big fan of Pokemon back in like 2010 and such, right when Soul Silver released. Actually, for like the
Wow.
longest time, I didn't even know Pokemon was a video game. I only thought it was just the cartoon. And I was
I
like,
only thought it was a TV show.
yeah, I was watching one day May, Max, Brock, and Ash taking a journey across Hoenn, and then one day just a commercial came up for Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, and I was like, what? It's a game? Like 10-year-old me was blown away that day. And so I instantly begged my mom or my dad, whichever one would get it to me first, for a DSi and Pokemon Soul Silver. And that rest was history there. I was a big fan, and I still am a big fan today. I've been slightly disappointed with more recent games, but I've also gotten into the TCG since then, and I'm a huge fan of the TCG now. So no matter what, there's always Pokemon at some point in my life. But yeah, Pokemon is eternal and never gonna go anywhere. I do know that we've been like pushing Blue into playing more of the main story games, because like Blue got into it through Pokemon Go, and they are also currently sometimes. Are you still obsessed with TCG Pocket at this point? I don't even know.
I'm still very obsessed with TCG Pocket, and I do
Every day.
like. Yeah, that whenever you hear me randomly in a call say someone pick a number between 1 and 15, that's because I'm opening a PCG pack. And I ask that probably 3 times a day. Yeah, you probably heard me say it. I'll usually be like, first one to answer. Like yesterday, I think I opened 3 in the call. So yeah, I love battling too. Like that's the card opening is fun, but I love like battling, like the strategy side of knowing which cards to play with which and when to retreat and how to use your abilities. Like that's I love puzzle and strategy type games. And so you add in a collecting game, which makes my autism just like, scream hallelujah. And then you add in the strategy side and it's just bliss. So I love TCG, but I really do love Violet. Which one? Scarlet. No, Violet. Yeah, Violet. I play Violet. Sorry, I can never remember which one. So yeah, and my started wanting to play. I was gifted it by a friend, sorry. But it was watching your stream, Obby, that made me go, oh my God, my favorite Pokemons, but in a whole nother format. Like, I can do this. And then you also got me Sun?
I got you
something?
Pokemon Sun, I believe, is the one.
Yeah, I have it for my DS. Yeah.
That one I felt like you would have liked more, because there's literally a mini game where you can just like take care of your Pokemon and treat them to a spa day. and I felt like you would have really liked
love
that.
I did, yeah, I played it. I really like it. So, and then I have Let's Go Eevee as well. But Let's Go Eevee is probably on the lower end of, I think I like, as far as those games go, probably Violet's my favorite.
Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. I do like them just as a standard Pokemon game, but I also hate it because it showed us that if they wanted to, they can make a amazing looking Pokemon Switch game. And then they come out with Pokemon Sword and Shield and then Scarlet and Violet. And you're telling me that that's the art style you had to go for those games when Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu look that much better? I'm sorry, why? It looks so good. Why is it game
Let's
2
Go
gens
Eevee
ago
really
look
does,
so much better?
I like them all, but I'm not one to really notice a lot of differences like that. So yeah. But Violet, I like. What's that?
Oh, sorry. I'm just surprised you say Sword and Shield isn't as visually good.
I think Sword and Shield is visually good, but like it lacks in a lot of aspects that I like, and especially Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet, I think, was a dip in like actual looking performance. But Sword and Shield, I feel like it's because they were first time implementing like wild areas and stuff. It gets very like FPS low when you get into the wild areas, and it looks a lot worse because of it. And I love Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's honestly some of my favorite games in the entire series because I think that they were the best games to play competitive in. And I used to love competitive battling. I don't think you would like it, Blue.
I have one of them, and I've never even taken it out of the film because I've just been focused on Violet when it comes to my Switch. So once I beat that one, then I'll go.
Sword and Shield, I like it because of the fact that like it is really good for competitive battling, but now that competitive's on Scarlet and Violet, I don't think that there's that. I don't think Sword and Shield is worth any more than $30 at this point. If I'm being completely honest.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, it makes sense. So it's a good game, but it's not like a go dump some money in a game.
That's what my opinion is.
Wait and find it at Goodwill. There you go.
You're welcome. Games like that.
What were you gonna say, Saran?
Oh, I was just gonna say I do think they nailed the gyms though. I would say they probably nailed it the most out of
I love the gyms.
All the games. The gyms are amazing.
Yeah, and Sword
I
and
would
Shield.
agree on that one.
Yeah.
I've seen because I've seen the playthroughs on those.
Mm-hmm.
They do have really nice gyms.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I like it.
Mm-hmm. I do agree.
I want to bring up one quick thing about the art, though, that we missed that I believe we talked about last time, but I think is so core. Also in what I remember you saying before, the time before that didn't happen. You used to do renders, right? Didn't you have a render era?
I forgot about
the render era. Yeah, because I think a lot of Minecrafters, and I kind of want to bring this up because like I've known a lot of you guys for a long time. And I've kind of seen, I've seen you guys grow up in a sense. And I've seen a lot of you go like, you start at one thing and you go to another. And a lot of Minecrafters seem to go into renders. Like they realize they can do some renders, but then it just stops. And I saw that stop with Riley. I saw it stop with probably 10 other skaters or, people I've known from other servers and things. So you went to renders just like a lot. That was kind of a stepping stone, but then you kept going. And I think that's what's so rad because that's where you separate kind of artists from, I want to try that. And yeah, that was okay, but it's not really me, and you were able to get past that, unlike a lot of people. So do you want to talk about your render years at all?
Yeah. I think part of the reason I stuck with it is I know a lot of people used, what was it? Minimator, I believe it was.
It was Minimator.
Minimator back in the day, which was not good. But I had a specific friend, and she used Cinema 4D. And Cinema 4D is incredibly expensive. Like, it is so insanely expensive. I believe it's $800 a year, which is wild.
Yeah, it's Adobe one, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought Cinema 4D was Adobe. Oh, I could be wrong.
I actually don't know. But I luckily had a friend I think they gifted I and like 4 other people their dad's version or something. I don't know how.
We're not going to question it.
Yeah. Nope. I never
we
questioned
just say thank you.
Yep.
You say thank you and shut up.
Yep. You're like, what program?
Which one? Grandpa, which one?
Yeah. And I think because I had such a high quality program that didn't really have much of a ceiling, I did kind of hit like my peak in quality, like late 2018 even, very early. So I didn't really grow up until I had grown with my art, like very recently, where I then could use more of my framing skills, facial expressions I got significantly better at, and bring more of my traditional art elements into Cinema 4D and the renders to expand them further. But like honestly, Minecraft renders in general are a really good way to improve on general art. Like you have the framing, the conceptualizing. It's not like super heavy physically to do it. It is on your computer, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good base to see, like, if you want to kind of develop that and have some fun. And if not, and this is where you stop, you just had some fun. And I know that quite a few skaters really used to enjoy just doing renders, but that was it,
Cinema,
Yeah.
Cinema 4D growing up was the big one. I don't know like how relevant it is nowadays. I don't know like how widely it's used, but I remember like it was like the go-to because I became familiar with it through people making like Minecraft thumbnails because the go-to like software for like fancy thumbnails of like people's Minecraft skins. Like I don't know, you'd see like a thumbnail of like Bajan Canadians like Minecraft skin in like a Hunger Games video.
Yeah.
They were all using Cinema 4D, and I remember I tried to learn it. I actually at one point was like, I wanted to like make really good Minecraft videos. I was like, oh, I need to learn how to do this and make myself an intro or like at least like some good thumbnails. And I couldn't figure it out. Like I was watching tutorials. I was young and I wasn't very au fait with like, the tech. But I was like, what the hell is this? Like it literally felt like I had like fallen into like a military base and I was trying to learn all these like secret codes. I was like, how the hell does this shit work? So I was always blown away by the people, particularly on like old communities that I was a part of, who could just like chalk something up in like 2 days and they were like, oh, I've made an intro for you. I'm like, what? Like I remember I had a friend who actually made a really good intro for my YouTube channel using Cinema 4D. It was very impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds really cool.
I think you either use Cinema 4D, Minimator, or Blender. Blender,
Nice one too.
your experience with Cinema 4D is my experience with Blender. I cannot figure it out for the life of me. And I
Blender's
think part of
very
that's
hard
due
to
to like,
use. Like it has a high learning ceiling, but like it's also very interesting to get the hang of just because of the fact that it is an initially free software. You have to pay for like some features, I think, but it's like initially free, if I remember correctly.
yep.
Mhm.
I think this maybe is why people gravitated towards Cinema 4D for renders too. Blender, I noticed almost every action is locked behind a keybind. And it didn't matter. And then the keybinds didn't work for me half the time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Whereas Cinema 4D has a much more simple layout, and is a lot more beginner friendly overall. It also depends on like the rig you use too.
Yeah, and also people used Blender more for like animation stuff more than just like pure
Yeah,
renders. Even though you
that
can
too.
use renders quite a bit. Like I know that renders in like Blender are what a lot of like tech YouTubers use for like judging performance of like stuff, but I think most people who use Blender are doing it more for animation stuff.
Yeah, or sculpting are the
Mhm.
two I see.
Yeah. But I do want to highlight where you said that it was only a couple years ago that you started getting good with it, and then you said 2018. You do realize 2018 is 7 years ago now, right?
No.
My mind is still in
It's horrible.
2020.
Same.
It's horrible.
I'm still there too. I am. Saran, I'm there too. So for me, what, 3 years ago?
We had a
Yep.
major time glitch. Like I still feel that too.
Never experienced
think
the
we had
time
a
glitch that you
shift
guys did.
in the- Oh, I did. The dimension
didn't.
changed or something because
See,
I'm still in 2020.
I have a theory though as to why. Like, cause like I always hear you say like, "Oh, it's still 2020." Like, it's still 2020 in my mind.
And
But I think
it is. I'm
problem
stuck.
is with me. Not problem. The correct thing that happened to me is that I actually started working that year as well. Like, I was not locked down at home. I was actually working because I was a essential worker for helping people with illness and stuff. And so I think
Mhm.
because I kept working, and I worked there for up till just last year, like, and I was
Yeah.
working through the corporate ladder and stuff like that. Like, since I had those like moments that I can say like, oh yeah, I remember when this supervisor left, or I can remember when this coworker left, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it helped me reframe my time into like imagining like, oh yeah, this is actually time is progressing every day, if that makes
Oh, see, mine
sense.
stopped. It just stopped.
And I think that's
I went
because you
from
just stayed
little
home
going
all
out
day,
to no
though.
going out.
Yeah.
I just froze, and I played a shit ton of Animal Crossing. So, like
I
800 hours that one year. That
It was
was my
Genshin for you, right?
I
yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
Yeah.
it feels
we all
like
had we had our coping games.
every year since then feels like it just I almost can condense the years into like months. And I remember like the main things that happened in those years, but I struggle to remember what my daily life looked like in those years. Like I kind of see like 2020 as like the year where I rode my bicycle a lot and was doing that as an alternative to swimming because that's how I was training because the pools were shut. I remember it being really hot and sunny, but that only makes up a small percentage of that year. 2021 is I kind of consider the Skade year. It's when I first sort of discovered Skade, and I kind of got even deeper into the online world than usual. And I had some personal loss. And then like 2022 is I I don't even know what I categorize 2022 as. Like
Stock
it was just
market crash.
2021. 2022 was basically just 2021 part two. And then like I don't know, it has it's weird because it's felt gradual, it has felt progressive, but at the same time, it just feels like it's gone. It's just a different, it's locked away almost. Like I feel like 2024 and 2025 are like the first years where like life feels how it did pre-pandemic, but that's not fair to say because obviously it isn't the same. The world is not the same. The sort of our economy, everything in our lives and our countries is completely different and is nothing like pre-pandemic. But the overall day-to-day life, the stores being open, people kind of talking again. Like I feel like we're getting a little bit of what we had before the pandemic. It's not
Yeah.
great, and it's certainly not as good, but it's something. It's a resemblance of the old.
I will say that like when it comes to just time itself, that I bring this up because like Rin posted like a picture the other day of like talking about how Move Along, the All American Rejects album, is 20 years old
I
this year.
know.
And I was thinking to myself, you
No.
mean the song that everyone's saying, when all you gotta keep is strong, move along, is 20 years old now? And I was like, wow, this is what it's like to get old.
Yeah.
And soon one day it will end tonight.
Yep.
We're pretty
Please.
screwed, guys. Things are just moving too quickly. Speaking of things that have been moving too quickly,
Topic
the
change.
time. This is a great segue. I'm so good
That's
at
a
these
good
segues.
segue. I rate that
This is
segue
great.
at
It really
least
was.
like that's a 7 out of 10 in my opinion for segues.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
maybe a 6.5. Yeah, great.
Speaking of time flying by, the time that I met Saran Blue, I blinked and it happened like
It's all right.
yesterday. I don't know the exact month, but this will be the 10th year I have known Saran Blue. The 10th year. I've
Oh,
known this
wow,
person
yeah.
for 10 years. What's scary is despite how involved I am on Skade, I have known Saran technically longer than everybody who I'm currently hosting this podcast with. Which is insane to me. Now, I have not spent as much time, probably totally, as say maybe Blue or Obby, but I have known them on and off, and I have been associated with. I have spent time with them, and I have been a friend of theirs for 10 years. And it to me, it's horrifying, like how this is the 10th year. You don't look at people when you join
Happy
communities. You don't look
friendiversary, you
at
two.
these.
Happy
Thank you, thank you.
friendiversary. Oh, ours is coming up this month
Ours
too,
is
Evan.
soon, the 18th. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Glad you remember.
The horrifying thing to me is like when you meet people online, and this is particularly when you're not in Discord servers, because I met Saran Blue on a Minecraft server, and this was I don't even think Discord had released, or it was about to
Nope.
release. It was like it wasn't
It
even
did
out
not.
yet. Right. It was not even out. So we didn't voice chat, we didn't do anything of that sort. They were just a random Minecrafter, and it was mind blowing to me because you don't meet people on Minecraft servers who you're not talking to in a voice call and think, yeah, I'm gonna know them in 10 years. They're all kind of people who you don't think that far ahead. You just think, oh, this is a cool person. And I met Saran
they're not gonna log in tomorrow. That's always my thought. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And
You know them for however long you know them, and that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're friends.
right,
Yeah, they're gaming
exactly.
friends. Yeah.
So for me, it's so surreal how long we've known each other. I met Saran through another friend of mine called Emerald. Shout out to you if you're watching this.
Hi, Emerald.
And I was a close friend of Emerald and another guy called Scales. Shout out to you as well, Scales, if you watch.
Hi, Scales.
These.
Go baseball.
We were kind of like, we hung out a lot on that server, on this Minecraft server, and I met Saran through them. And so we would be on different servers. Eventually, Discord was created. We joined several different Discord servers that were chiefly made by Scales. And so we were always this quite tight-knit friend group. And so we've had many different periods where we've gone like several months, maybe even like, I'd probably even say the longest we didn't talk to each other was like 2 years.
Yeah,
So
I think so.
we've been very inconsistent. It's been a bit of a roller coaster of talkativity.
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 Yeah.
That's an Evan word.
But
Yes.
it is an Evan word. It's an Evanism. But I think it's a testament to like how like, how good friends we are too, because like it's very unusual, I would say, and I think you guys would agree, to know somebody and not be talking to them every day, but still be I consider a close friend. A lot of great history 10 years later. It's surreal to me. And
It
so I'm
is.
very
And it's
grateful.
not something you see all the time. So yeah,
It's
treasure
really
that.
not. It's incredibly unique, and it's great how like despite how long we can go without speaking to each other, like we're just so casual when we're on calls. There's no awkwardness, like, oh hey, it's a long time no see. We've always
sorry
just
we haven't
dipped in
talked
and
in
out.
6 months. Yeah.
It's so great, honestly, and I'm very grateful that you sort of really started involving yourself in Skade, because I feel like I've got to know you even better since you joined, and it's I think it's just great to see you online more and be on this podcast. So
yeah.
It's crazy, the history. 10 years, man. 10 years.
Well, wait, I want my turn. So I met you. Okay, mine's really quick. But I met you through an old server, and Riley was playing with you. And Riley's like, oh, can we please join this realm? Which at the time I didn't know was a no-no. And I'm like, sure. And so we joined, and I remember like you gave me my own head, and I was like, thought that was the coolest thing. And because where we all had been playing it, you couldn't do that. It was not a thing. And that was one of the first things I remember. And I remember just like having so much fun and building, and Riley was having so much fun, and it was your realm. And yeah, that was, and my gosh, Riley had to have been like 11. So we're not talking as long as you and Evan, but we're talking probably 2015. So actually it would have been 2015.
Yeah, it would have been 10 years.
It would have been 10
Yeah,
years.
so yay, we get to share a friend anniversary as well. Yeah, because it was 2015, because that's when we had joined there, and that was the beginning of my Minecraft journey, and you were very much one of the first parts of that. So yeah, so that was really rad. So
it is
not as cool as your story, but it is a story.
But yours is still good, and it's still technically 10 years, even if
we broke the rules and met. Yay!
You've known of this person
Band.
for that long, and it's truly remarkable. And I think like there's a certain uniqueness in general, but I'd say like online you don't really get that like in real life. I think online, to get this kind of like this sort of interconnectivity that seems to spread across time and space is quite extraordinary. And I think it's amazing.
I think so too. It makes me happy.
I will say it's also very cool, like coming from the community that we were all part of, that like I have known of these people who I now talk to on a regular basis for like over 12 years now. Like I have known of BB, of Buddy, of Rin, of Ben X for like 12 years plus counting. I have known of Saran, of Dusty, of Nin for 11 years at this point, or 10. Like I have known of these people and I've seen them before, but I never thought like 5 years later I would be talking to some of them on a regular basis. And now I do on a regular basis talk to a lot of
that was people. The biggest thing for me.
Who knew that day I met you eating fried chicken, singing Elvis? to me that, like 8 years later, we'd be so close.
True.
Or 7 years,
It's
however long.
crazy. There's so many people
He really did.
there's so many great people I met through Skade who I'd known for just as long, and in some cases even longer than Al, whose voices I'd never heard, or people who I'd never
Sparkle,
spoken to personally.
right?
Yeah, Sparkle's a perfect example. Sparkle 115. I have known them since like literally 2014.
Yo, Jargon!
early
Shout out to Jargon! Hi.
2014. Like I have known you
That's Jargon.
for forever. Like I knew you, and I was a little kid, and you were a little kid, and now you're in uni. It's crazy, and I didn't get to be in a call with them until like literally a couple years ago when I joined Skade. Same with
But you're
Boomy.
still
Boomy's
friends.
another one. I knew Boomy, Creeper's Boom. I knew him from fucking years ago. When about like 7 years without saying a word to him because I never saw him. Suddenly I see him just casually in a voice call. I'm like, holy shit, it's him. So it's amazing, like the history of like of it all, and how it all comes together, and it's truly amazing. So
it is.
It's amazing. I agree. It's cool.
This is what the online world is about.
It
Finding out
is, and I
people
wish
and
more
not
people
talking
could
to them
do
until
this.
7 years after meeting them.
It's cool. There's a movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but I had posted in the Life channel about it. And it's a Netflix documentary, and it's about a gamer, and he had muscular dystrophy, and he ended up passing away. And after he passed away, his parents got a glimpse. Well, they didn't get a glimpse. They got to see the world he lived in with his online gaming community. And it was so rad. And my brother, who had muscular dystrophy, who passed away, he was really big into gaming communities. They were his friends and his family. And so this particular documentary really hit me hard, but it makes you wonder how many skaters, like their families, don't know like the core friends that they have made and the impact they have made on each other's lives. And some of us will meet in person and become very good friends, like Nalari and I just hung out yesterday. And then others will be, people that we never meet, but it doesn't make them so important to us and impact our lives and make our, it fulfills our lives. And I feel like gamers just get a really bad rep of not having real friends. And we have skaters that say, "Oh, my brother says none of you guys are real. You don't exist." And we've had people say that, and we're like, "Really?" Because I'm here, and yes, you guys might be in my pocket or in my computer sometimes,
I'm
but you're
physically
with
touching
me.
myself, and it's just like I'm real.
What? But we are, and our friendships are real. But it's so taboo. Wow. Like I think it's getting more mainstream where people understand, but it is still kind of a taboo thing to be like, "Oh, my best friend lives, 2,000 or 3,000 miles away, and I'll probably never meet them, but they're such a core part of my day and such a core part of who I am now." And yet it's, it's just kind of crazy, but it kind of reminds me of that, these wholesome, like, friend stories of 10 years, and hopefully 20, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Right, Evan? 20?
Absolutely. We will know each other.
Evan,
I will know you until you're senile.
We joked that like we would be in an old. We joked that we'd be in like an old home, like a senior center home, and like literally trying to trip each other with our canes and knock each other out of our wheelchairs. And nothing will ever change. Of course, I'll die way before him, but
I think that that's the best thing about like the online world too, is like you'll never know like how things progress. Like you'll never know like who, like how much you drift away. But I think the great thing about the online world is how persistent it is. Like even if you don't talk to the same people every day, even if you are more inactive, or even if you do get busy with life, like every online friend I know, all the good ones I've made, have a really funny way of coming back and still staying involved. And I think that's a big thing. Like I know like we all four of us will probably, like move on to different things, and we'll find different things. We might have a different daily life, but we'll all still be in contact. We'll all still be spending time with each other and having amazing times. And that might be a weekly thing. It could be an every other day thing. It could be a monthly thing. But the great thing about the online world is that it, like, unless you meet somebody very questionable, if you've met a great online friend, I guarantee you could go like fucking, I don't know, 5 years, and they will be just as excited to see you and just as like same as you left them.
Even if it's not the same frequency, exactly.
Exactly, because well, here's the thing: I've tried to reconnect with several friends I had in real life from many years ago, none of them were interested or would ghost me. Every online friend who I went years without speaking to, who I reconnected with, wasn't even awkward. It was like, oh hey, how's it going? Yeah, not
it's
bad.
like, oh my gosh, where have you been for 5 years? How you
It's
doing?
literally it's just so casual. So I have a great feeling that like even when our lives change, and they will.
And they will.
But even when
That's just life.
our lives change, I have a great feeling that we will still be very interconnected. We will still be in each other's lives, and in one way or another.
I will be
Mhm.
impeding
And
your
that's the thing
guys'
I would-
lives for years to come.
I know you will.
Exactly. I'll babysit your guys' kids. Okay.
Sorry, you're too far to babysit my kids.
I guess I have to move then. Jeez,
No,
okay.
my trap door. Oh
Did I do
no. Immersion has been broken. Okay. But
Hi.
I think that kind of leads into another topic that we wanted to discuss, where it was
Okay.
we obviously, as we know, Skade is a server or a community full of people who have autism, and we did come from another community that was all about autism and such. And you wanted to specifically talk about autism burnout, specifically, Saran, and
Mhm.
your experiences with it, and how you can sometimes cope with it, sometimes you can't, etc., etc. So, why don't you take the floor? I
no,
was
I
gonna
didn't think
break
that
the
far.
floor and give it to you, but okay,
There you
we'll do
go.
it for you.
I'll just give you there you go. You have
Take
the floor. Okay. It's yours.
Um,
You can wear it.
I think it's really interesting because a lot of people have very different experiences with it, and it took me a while to realize, well, one, to learn what it is, but also to it still takes me a while to recognize when I am in a period of autistic burnout. I keep calling it artistic. I get those words confused so much.
Autistic,
I mean,
Well,
artistic,
you're
they are
same
well,
thing.
you're
they
also
are a
you're
little
an
one and the same.
artistic autistic, so it's all good.
Coach who
Yeah.
used to purposely confuse those just to
Artistic.
make fun of me.
You're an artistic autistic.
If you just over exaggerate the U, it does sound like artistic, so you can just do that all the time.
Artistic.
Just
Yeah.
autistic.
Then they'll be like, wait, is it artistic or is it autistic? And you'll be like, why do you have to choose? There you go.
Exactly. I'm both.
Yes.
Get on my level,
Why not?
bitches.
It's a new word.
I think, you know, one of the symptoms I hear people talk about is the loss of skills.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is I have an actual visual representation of it through my art, and I've sent you the photos too, somewhere. But
Yeah, I have them.
I can actually see when I hit a period of autistic burnout through that, because the skills will decline to the point, it is visually noticeable.
Well, visually noticeable to you specifically. I think that
Well, yes,
every
but
common
Right.
people would not be able to see it, but I think that is a fact of like everyday life, I think, or not everyday life, but of everyday people, that like once you do something for so long and you start getting burnt out, you will notice it in your own work. For me, I
Yeah.
do notice it whenever I do any sort of writing when I am very burnt out on it, because it does not sound like it's me writing it after I go back and reread it. Same thing with like TCG art. I can say that like some of the arts that you're gonna see with TCG are not of good quality compared to others, and it is purely due to the burnout. And I can tell you what it will be obvious to me which ones were burnout and which ones weren't. So
Okay.
but yeah, it is a fact of just like you do end up losing some sort of skill. I think with any kind of burnout, but specifically with autistic burnout as well, that it just becomes harder to manifest certain things. Yes, that is the end of my sentence.
okay.
Perfect. Thank you, Obby. I'm glad.
I agree with you on that, Obby. I 100% agree with that.
I also do.
Thank you
I
for
also do.
agreeing.
I've seen it because I've seen it in so many other areas too, besides like just art, just autism burnout in general. And I'm just glad we can talk about it, because it shouldn't be anything that's like seen as a negative. It's just more of a realization of yourself and where you're at. and that can be something you can be proud of. You know what I mean? It's like taking a term that's kind of a more derogatory term and turning it into something positive. And the fact that we can acknowledge and see. So like when Saran can say, I can see it, even though we wouldn't be able to see that, because to us, it probably just all looks really good. And the TCG cards will probably be the same, Obby. To you, you will notice because you are your biggest critique. You will notice the little things, but those little things are little signs. They're little warnings saying like, hey, this is where we're at. We're not doing these little things. We're taking more shortcuts, or we're, doing whatever we normally wouldn't do. And that's a sign. And the fact that you're able to kind of see that and have like a visual representation of that, I think is pretty amazing.
I agree.
That's my long-winded sentence, Obby. There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is how we should communicate the end of our sentences now on Skader Things. It actually makes it so much easier to just say, oh yeah, you guys can pipe up now.
Yeah. That was the end of my sentence, Saran. Okay.
We'll just say it like it's over a walkie-talkie, like we always say over at the end of our
Roger
sentences.
that. 10-4, roger that.
Over.
Over. Or we have like a ball. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but there you go. You get to hold the ball. It's your turn to talk. You get the blue Pokeball. Whoever holds the blue Pokeball, it's their turn.
Yeah. But what about you, Evan? Do you have any experiences with autism burnout?
It's tough, to be honest with you. I find it hard to really assess when I'm going through burnout versus when I'm having just a hard time of life. And I think sometimes they're just linked things. I don't really know how I would describe it. I've certainly noticed it throughout my life, but I'm really struggling to think of any like relevant and sort of poignant examples I can think of. I will say, like,
What about
the
swimming?
burnout I seem to get. Swimming, I wasn't really burnt out from swimming. I was and I wasn't. That was more my mental state was just really unhealthy, but it wasn't burnout as much as it was more exhaustion from being a perfectionist, which you could, I guess, classify as burnout, but I don't feel that's quite an accurate characteristic. Um, no, I don't know. What I notice when I get burnt out is it seems to be kind of in every aspect. I seem to get, when I have autism burnout, it seems to, I'm still learning when I'm affected by it, but it seems to affect my entire life. I just seem to be burnt out from life when I have autism burnout. It's not one thing. It's not one hobby. It's just sort of everything. I'm tired of like everything. And
like an accumulation of everything, like
yeah,
an accumulation. Like it just gets too much.
Everything gets too much, exactly. And the one thing I've noticed is that my burnouts don't really seem to last that long, particularly autism ones. Sometimes it can be as short as like a week, maybe 2 weeks. I would say due to personal circumstance, I'm going through a little bit of that right now. So that's why I've been taking kind of more of a step back from things, just to kind of like just to make sure that I can still enjoy the things I am still doing and give as much as I can to everything I'm doing. And self-preservation is really hard, and something I'm still learning how to do. And I think the stuff I've been going through in real life, I'm fine, by the way. I'm not.
He's not fine, everyone. Please treat him as a charity
I'm not
case.
fine.
I mean, look at him. Just
treat him
look
as a
at
charity
him.
Case. That story earlier was about him.
The personal struggles I'm going through though have led me to feeling a bit burnt out. And so it's, going through this is sort of teaching me how to better self-manage and navigate burnout. So that's kind of my experience with it. It's kind of more nuanced, and it's perhaps not the sort of standard form of autism burnout you'd expect, but I think that's the closest I can kind of explain it.
For me, one thing for me to add on with autism, being very specific to autism burnout, is like, I don't know about you guys, but I tend to be, when I hyper focus on something, it becomes everything to me until I'm done with that. And then when I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. It's it's like flipping a switch. And it's like, right now I'm still heavily in my Pokemon Go era, but a good example was Animal Crossing. I played it all day long. You would not find me without my Switch. I could be doing other things, but I still have my Switch going. You will hear that song floating everywhere around me. And I played and I played and I played, and then one day I was done. And I was just
No,
done.
I
No, I will
actually.
pick it up. Hold on, this I still am
Sorry.
holding the I'm still holding the floor. Okay. Um one day, like, and it was literally, it wasn't like a slow gradual, like, oh, a little bit less today, a little bit less the next day. It just one day it didn't appease to me. Like I didn't want to do it. And now I still struggle playing the game. Like, I enjoy it. Occasionally we play it on Skade together. Some days I'll be like, I'm gonna load it up and let my villagers tell me how much they hate me because I've been gone, you know? And
Overall.
but overall, I'm done with it. So for me, it's not even autism burnout. For me, it is very hard to go back to something that I was super, super hyper focused on, because I have moved on and now I'm on a new one. And I think the reason I'm a little bit more different in this and I'm a little bit more of a severe cut and dry on it is because of my ADHD, because that plays a role in the hyperfixations as well.
Yep.
And that's why it's kind of a joke that ADHD people will start 100 businesses and they will start 100 projects and they have so many notebooks, but we don't get anything done and we never complete anything. And it's because we're just chronically having all these new ideas. And so our hyper focusedness is typically more short, like not long years, but more shorter spans. But at the same time, when you have autism as well, I have my long year, like 3, 4, 5 year long hyperfixations, like when I wanted to be an astronaut or wanted to be a marine biologist or I wanted to be in meteorology, which I'm still working on. But it's like I have more of these long-term ones that are I'm super hyper focused on. And then I have the little short ones that just get maybe a week of my attention at a time. And then I move on and I never want to talk about that again. I'm done with it. It's just gone. So that's kind of how mine is too.
I
So just
see.
to show another, like a little bit more of a
Actually-
different side of it, of autism burnout.
I actually, you know what?
So
I
the-
actually
wait,
will.
what-
Oh,
One sec.
sorry.
The fact that you can go back to drawing even with burnout is amazing. And that's how you know it's not just a hyperfixation. It's something you thoroughly love and enjoy. And this could be a career path for you. Like this could be something that you can do long term. It's not just a temporary hyperfixation, which like renders were for often people. It's kind of goes back to that renders where, oh, I'm super into this. I love it. And now I moved on. You didn't move on. You just developed and kept going and going and sharpening your skills and acquiring new skills. And I think it's amazing. Okay, Evan,
I was going to very briefly add one actual thing I can relate to what you said about burnout is I actually did have this with Lego when I was a kid. Before, you know, of course, Ben is kind of our resident Lego
Yes.
hyper focus, but before
This
the
is
age
life.
of sort of before like, you know, gaming and like being online was about a big part of my life, I was obsessed with Lego, and this was when I was a young kid. I had a Lego city. I've been to like a Legoland. It wasn't like the proper one. It was like a small one they had in like one of the English cities. And I had my entire life revolved around
like
Lego.
a Duplo land.
I
I'm just
did.
kidding. Duplo
Very
land's funny.
It is actually. That's good. I like that.
Because it's little kids. Okay, I'm sorry.
But my life was Lego for several years. The half of the living room in our house, because we, for some reason in our old house, we just had a weirdly big living room. So half of it was just filled with like Lego roads, Lego buildings.
I've heard these stories.
And yeah,
Nobody
and
could come over because they might touch your toys, right? They might touch your Legos. Didn't you have a fear of that?
I not only had a fear of it, it one day came true because somebody actually brought their dog around and the dog ran and knocked things over, and it took me like a day to rebuild everything. I was very upset, but I kept all the instruction manuals. I was that kid who kept the instruction manuals of every single set I ever owned. So
okay, so you're the one that built by instruction manuals, not built just like free build. Okay, got it.
I know, I am, and so
no, there's different Lego people. Same with Minecraft. Same.
I don't remember what it was that caused it or what the reason was, but one day my mother just explained it to me. I just completely stopped being interested in Lego. Stopped wanting to buy it. Stopped wanting to use it. It just
I'm just
sort of
done.
stopped. Yeah, it just stopped. And so I don't. I mean, I guess that's probably the closest thing. I don't know if you could call it burnout. It probably might have been, but the sort of just the switch thing you described resonated with me because that's exactly what I had with Lego. And
Saran never switched. We love your art.
No, never switched, Saran, because I was actually going to say,
Saran, you can never get out of art.
No,
you cannot have another hobby ever again.
No, just art. You can have more hobbies, but we have to keep that one too.
To add on to what Blue was saying as well, Saran, I think it's fantastic that you have found a way sort of self-regulating feeling burnout, because as an artist that is a huge challenge, and I don't think it can be downplayed. Like, we all go through burnout, but burnout with artistry, particularly when it's something like it's a vocation or something you're trying to do with like commissions and stuff, it can really be a detriment if you go through it. So the fact that you're able to bounce back really quickly and you're good at noticing and learning to notice when you need to take a step back is a very valuable thing. And I think in some ways it's a bigger skill than the art you make itself, because it's a very hard thing to learn. So it's by no means an understatement to say it's very good what you're doing, and
yeah,
very
it's
happy that
amazing. Hearing you
it
could do
is.
that with like, wow, like you found a way to be able to track yourself to know when to pull back. So that's
absolutely
awesome.
I do want to kind of.
I'm not there
Sarah.
yet.
You can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I do think part of it too is even when I'm not creating like art by drawing, it's doing art in other mediums like Minecraft builds, the giant Sims world that I've been working on for 2 years, or just escaping off into my head, which is, I don't know if I said this. I wanted to add this really quick. Like, part of my art stuff too is usually almost every single piece I draw, I have a vision as strong in my head as if I am physically seeing it of what I'm going to create or what is in my head. And I think
That's
it's
amazing.
because I always have those. And I've had a story going on in my head since I was 10 that has kind of continued on, in the strong sense of like as if I am physically experiencing it. So
I know
that
exactly
is
what you
always
mean.
bringing me back
See,
to
and I don't. Keep explaining. I love this.
it is what my comic is based on, like my personal one, not the Skade one. Is that long running story. I think they're actually called paracosms. I want to say, if I remember right from my research, Narnia was one.
I think so. That makes sense for Narnia.
Wow.
Or like
Narnia is
Journey
pretty
to the
awesome.
Center of the Earth or something like that
Yep.
too.
Yep.
I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
So that always pushes me forward with art again because I'll want to bring that into reality.
That's really cool.
Yep.
I'm kind of jealous on that. I don't have a very good imagination at all. So like when anyone says that like, oh, I could see this in my head and I needed to bring it into real life, I just find that so fascinating because for me, it's what I see in real life I can bring into my head. So I can only really see things or imagine something I've already seen before. And the fact that you can take a concept or something like an actual, it sounds like a picture of something you're actually visually seeing in your head and then turn that into something in real life and have the talent and ability to do that. Cause I'm sure most people would see things in their head, but not be able to put it into a picture form. I think it's so amazing. I think you're incredibly talented. I love it.
Sometimes I can't. So that's part of the burnout. Sometimes I can't.
I did want to tack on to what you said earlier, Blue, about how ADHD makes the autism worse when it comes to like burnout and stuff. That like it gets to a point sometimes where like you are scared to start new things, or you start something and then instantly get rid of it because you're scared that you're never going to keep up with it. Like I have noticed this a lot with like video games and specifically, and even more recently, like trying to start new series that like I want to get into something. I want to get into Severance. I want to get into playing Skyrim. I want to play Horizon Zero Dawn, for example.
And every because that's my new one.
And every time I start it and I enjoy it, and then I haven't gone back to it for a while now. And it's just
welcome to ADHD. Yeah.
It is just because of that.
Yeah.
It's to the point where like I take medication where and if I want to watch something or if I want to play something now, I have to take my medication and sit my ass down and watch it or play it, or else I'm not going to. I mean, right now I'm very busy with just getting everything ready for TCG, so I'm probably not going to do it until like later on. But still, like even when I wasn't as busy and such like that, it's very hard for me to just sit down and focus and do one of those things. Like I want to be able to sit down and play an entire run of Skyrim. I want to know why everyone loved that game so much. I want to know why everyone likes Severance so much. I want to know why, but it's hard for me to actually sit down and watch or play the damn things.
Oh, So here, I'll give you a little tip. So I'm right now facing my desk. I'm facing my middle monitor so I'm facing my a wall, I'll just say. To the left of me, I'm sorry, to the right of me is another wall. That wall has my TV. And so often while I'm playing a game, I will have a TV show on, but I'm not one of those that stares at the TV. I more listen to the TV. So for me, I can multitask and do both at the same time. And that's very like it makes me feel very good. It's a very good feeling for me.
couldn't.
But also don't ever I'll give you a little advice here from an ADHD person. And this is something I relate 100% with what you just said. 10 years ago me, but right now I don't care. If a game looks interesting and I know I'm probably going to start it and never finish it, that's okay. That's how I play games. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that I may never finish Skylanders Giants. Just kidding. Of course I did. But I'm okay with the fact that I'm started Avowed. I'm still doing character creation. I'm going on like 2 hours now of character creation. And I love that. And I might only play, I may never actually finish the game, but I'm going to play it and have fun until I'm done. And then I move on to another game. And that's just how I play. And that is a very ADHD thing, whereas some people do have to like literally play it all the way through. And or they feel like they failed, or gosh, why did I buy that? I didn't even finish it. Ask yourself, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy playing it the hours you did? If so, play it.
I'm not afraid to not finish
it.
a game, but I'm afraid to like buy a game and play it for only such a small amount of time. Like to me,
but that's okay.
I don't want to pick up a game and only play it for an hour and a half and just be like, that's it, I'm good. It's like, no, that just seems like a waste of money to me at that point.
Maybe, but maybe not, because you might revisit that game another time. Like, remember, like Saran was saying, when they were sick one time, right? And then they like picked up this game and then they ended up loving it. And it started this whole thing where they are like super obsessed now with Pokemon. So like, here's the thing. You also have to look at money in the sense of if it's going to provide you entertainment. So let's say it only gives you 10 hours of entertainment, right? That's it. What would you pay to go out to the movies to see 4 movies for the equivalent amount of time? Between your ticket and popcorn and everything, you could have bought 2 of those games, right? So it's kind of, you have to kind of look at it, and that's
what kind of movies are you watching? That's expensive.
No, not really. To go out to get to a movie. Yeah, but see, that's not. I'm just saying a typical. Even if it was $10, right? So you could see 4 movies in the same that you could have bought that game, but that game you're gonna play over and over, and maybe you won't. Maybe you'll step away. Maybe you'll end up gifting it to a friend. It doesn't matter what you do with it. If you're gonna enjoy it. I saw a couple. This guy, the girlfriend was not very happy about this, and I thought it was amazing. For Valentine's Day, he went out and got them. He bought Mario Kart. They had a Wii, so he bought Mario Kart, and he had bought like takeout dinner, and he had this whole fun night planned, and she was like upset that he had spent like, was it like a $50 game or something at the time? And he's like, but they've been playing it now for like 6 months. And he's like, that made so much sense than just buying, these chocolates or buying, something else. Like, I invested that game into our Valentine's date. Yes. But look at how much more we got out of it. And we still to this day play the game. So it's kind of like, put your money, and I always give this advice, put your money into what you're into, like, because that's what you're into right now. And yes, you might change. And yes, especially if you have ADHD, trust me, your interests are going to change a lot, but it's okay. You're still having fun and you're experiencing life to the fullest in this time frame of what you're doing. And then you sell whatever it is, like whether it be a console or, a game or whatever, or you don't, you hang on to it and you just know that you have something to play another time. So, because guess what? We have ADHD. It's going to come back around,
Kind of hard to sell games on Steam or Epic, though.
Or you can gift them, though, can't you? Nalari's gifting.
Like your own games that you have.
Oh, your own. Yeah.
Why don't you buy them? That's part of your library. I can sell my Steam library for anyone who wants it.
See, that's just it. But see, there's a whole nother part is we're autistic. We like to have libraries and I was at Nalari's house.
TCG is released, I expect you to be playing it constantly. Okay.
I will be. I promise. I love my Umbreon. What's my special ability?
Shiny Umbreon.
I heal people. Yeah, I heal people.
Unlike in real life, you hurt everyone you touch. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I know. I actually get to experience something I'm not really good at. This
But
is fun. I'm excited.
Before we end it off, speaking of Umbreon, Saran, how's
Mhm.
Cobblemon been?
I really enjoyed playing it. I've been burnt out, I think.
Completely understandable. I was
It's
burnt
like
out
go
within the
hard
first
and
2
then
weeks.
take a break.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
go
I
hard and take a break.
played obsessively the entire
You did.
month
You
the
played
first time.
way too much
So
compared to any other person, and now I think it's
I had over
Trashy who
10
plays
days.
the most because of it.
Trashy and Jargon,
yeah.
they're always on, which I try to hop
Uh-oh.
on any chance I get to.
My cat hit my mouse.
The
He's
couch
laying
is
on my desk.
broken now.
There we go.
It's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to really enjoy time on Cobblemon, and I did for a short period of time, but like it's really hard for me to get into Cobblemon, I feel, just because of the fact that like I am so burnt out from Pokemon in specific because of how long I've played it actively. But at some point I'll go back to it for sure. For sure. Never leave Pokemon.
Yeah, it's so cool. I'm really happy with Cobblemon. I love the update we just did. It's got some great features, and I try to hop on there when I can. It's my preferred Minecraft server at the moment to play on from Skade, so yeah, it gets my attention.
Yeah, my preferred server right now is Midgard because that's where TCG is.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
Asgard's a lot of fun
And
too.
I say
We've
playing,
got some great
but
stuff.
like actually, I'm just over there constantly trying to
Well-
make things for TCG, and I am very tired of it.
Minecraft is another one of those where I hardcore played for years and years. I mean, I would be up
Minecraft
till
is the
2, 3 in the
exception for
morning.
me. Minecraft,
Oh,
I have
see,
played
I did get
consistently
burned.
for 12 years, and I have still not stopped.
Yeah, see, I did. I definitely did. I got to a point where it was still one day I was still playing 8 hours a day, and then one day I just was done. And I just stopped kind of playing it. I still play it, of course. I mean, we own quite a few servers.
I mean, I literally view it as
but it's not my game anymore.
I view it as a separation of like my ADHD and autism. ADHD is literally every other game. Minecraft is my autism representation.
Autism, yeah. It's a very autism friendly game, which yes, we know there's a stereotype. Minecrafters
I
all
love
autistic.
this fucking stereotype.
Yes, we are. We don't care.
We don't
Say
care.
it all you want.
Yeah, I get to play this game where I can just do whatever the fuck I want.
Exactly. Real life, no thank you. Put me in a Minecraft
I'm gonna make
world.
something phallic right after this.
I love us. We're great.
So yeah, how about we end it so I can go make something Saran, at the end of every episode, we ask people to add something to the set here. Please don't make it something phallic.
Only Obby.
Yeah. Please feel free to add whatever
if you would like to, we have the queen here. This is the queen's ashes. Rosie's wife is dead. In case you didn't know. You'll learn that when that podcast comes out. I love it.
Ditto.
The shiny ditto. Yep. Yay.
And you're going to place the sign up there out of frame so no one can see it.
You can do it like if you wanted. You don't have to, but you could do it like that too if you wanted. Just right click on that. It's up to you though, wherever you want.
No, Saran wants it out of frame so no one ever sees their name.
Why?
Because I don't like my name like being in the middle of the center of attention. It stresses me out.
Nope.
Fair
you know
enough.
what? I respect that 100%. Yep. You're talking to a fellow autistic. Yep.
That's fair.
That works perfectly.
Like, can I put my sign backwards so nobody sees it?
I mean, you technically can now in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that coloring.
They're caring about the color when no one's ever gonna see it. And Blue's in front of the camera showing her legs.
Hello.
Hot.
I have legs.
I like it on the side because it adds more like texture and dimension instead of it being just a giant
It's
slab
okay.
of
We can see.
log. It's more interesting when it has like decoration.
Anyone on the camera can see about like 1/32th of it right now. 1/32.
132th?
Oh, 1/32th of it. Yep.
That's your wisdom tooth. Was your 32nd tooth, by the way. You're welcome.
Thank you. Well,
you're welcome.
I think it's time to wrap up this episode. Saran,
this is fun.
Thank you for coming on today.
Again.
Again.
Yes. I think this one was good. The other one was really good too, but this one was fun. I mean, they're both fun.
I think I liked this one a little bit
I think I actually do prefer this one. I think, yeah, maybe we always need a run through.
I mean, to be fair,
And
Ren
now-
did say that you were lucky for getting a second try at this. Because Ren felt like they didn't do a good job their first try, even though it was such a good episode.
It was
Yeah.
good, but it will be fun to have Ren again. After we have Lord, we'll have Ren and Lord. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. We got a
We'll do
lot
a
to talk
couples
about
one.
at Lord's episode, because that's who's up next. Yes,
Yep, I'm
we know
excited
we're
for
gonna have
Lord.
3 guests in a row, and it's totally our
I
fault for
know.
having poor scheduling. Yeah.
It's Evan's
So
fault.
don't worry. There's only one more guest episode after
is.
this, and then there will be like a couple episodes of just us 3 again. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, because that's an
Sorry,
apology.
everybody.
Sorry,
Shame.
everyone.
It is what it is.
But today, luckily, we have a 4th that makes it good. So thank you, Sarah.
Saren made this
here.
episode even better.
Yes, I really love your skin. I love it so much.
I'm so
I
happy
love
with how
it.
it turned out. I love the monochrome.
I love it too. It came out really great.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be the year of like black and white and monochrome for me. So yeah, I need
We're going
to
all
get this green
monochrome.
out.
Evan's
Let's do
starting
it.
the trend, but it's
Oh
like 3
wait,
years
hold
late.
on.
It's 3 years late, but he started it.
3 years later.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for us. Thank you all for watching.
Mhm.
And I bid you all adieu.
I do, and you don't need to
Bye.
subscribe if you don't want to. You don't have to like it, but if you'd like to, we would like it if you would like to, but you don't have to like it. We're pretty accommodating
Sometimes you're
people.
gonna say the word "like it" end the episode.
I like it. Bye, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.